Hey there and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. It feels like spring around here and I'm super excited to share with you a few little updates that I did around the house. So I'm going to get into that in just a minute. I also want to bring you with me on a little bit of a mini shop with me, a very mini haul. I just picked up a few key items and I'll show you how I brought them into my house and just used what I already had, but added these key pieces to sort of spruce things up a bit. And you would be surprised how much just a little bit goes a really long way, especially when it comes to a spring refresh. So we're gonna get into it. If you like videos like this, make sure that you hit subscribe so that you don't miss any of the new videos that I put out. Give me a thumbs up, drop me a comment, let me know what you think. And without further ado, let's jump right into the video. I'm bringing you with me first, as I said before, for just a quick little shop with me. I visited a few of my favorite stores. This place is called the Brass Exchange, and I love them because they usually have great florals, very realistic artificial floral stems for really good prices. So these I really love. They look like little baby hydrangeas, and they're very similar though to a few white stems that I already had at home. And I was glad I saw them because it reminded me of what I had at home and saved me a little bit of money. These are just some really pretty taper candle holders. They look like glass, stone, almost like a lotus flower. They're definitely a little bit pricier than what I wanted to spend today, and I don't really need them, but they were really pretty. And again, I just really like to go sometimes, even if I don't buy anything, just to sort of get ideas. And then you come home and you have some inspiration for things that you can move around that you already have. So again, really good price for a very realistic looking hydrangea stem. Then I saw these and the leaf caught my eye because I really liked the color of these leaves. And then when I lifted it up and pulled it out, I realized that it was all one stem. So this was really cool because you can buy something like this and just put it in a vase and you're done. You don't really have to do much with it aside from like maybe bend a few stems here and there. But I thought that this again was really realistic looking, very pretty. I love the color variation in the leaves. And again, it's a really good price considering this is an entire stem that will fill up an entire vase. This store, again, the Brass Exchange in particular, has pretty unique items. So I just like to kind of shop around and again get some inspiration. These are really cool salt and pepper shakers. Then I saw this, which is like a dessert case, and I always wanted one of these, but I never really wanted to buy like a plain round one. This one was so pretty though, and it had the lid that was that blown glass, and then it had that insert there, which was stone. Again, super pretty and makes me want to bake something springy and pop it in there on my counter. And these are just more, again, really realistic artificial stems. These would look great in a vase, on your dining room table, or on a console table. $8.99 is a good price, again, for the quality. And I tend to go with more neutrals. I don't really do a lot of pinks and pastels for springtime. So you can, if you're like me and you like neutrals, you can change it up with these kind of tones. So like that cream color in the fern leaves I just showed you. And then these, which are ranunculus. I really like the ranunculus stems. I think that they're so different and unique, and they signal spring, but in, again, a more muted way if neutral is your color tone. So I went over to At Home next, again, just kind of browsing around, getting a little bit more inspiration. I saw these candlesticks that I really liked. Then I saw a whole bunch of scalloped items that they have there. I know I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this, but I do like scallops, but I know it's a trend and I know it's going to go out pretty quickly. So I did not pick up anything with scallops on them just because I feel like, again, it's not going to last too long. But I do really like going there and just, again, getting some ideas, looking for things that I could use in my own space, and then sometimes remind myself of things that I already have, maybe tucked away in a cabinet or a bin. I have to say one thing about At Home, that I'm very impressed with their artificial greenery. I used to go there and I used to kind of skip this area, honestly, because it never really used to impress me a whole lot. I feel like it used to look very plasticky, kind of very artificial, obviously fake, but they've stepped up their game because lately they have a lot of great selections. And these succulent stems that they have there, I really like the color in them. I like the variation of the color. They have a lot of great detail in them. And I really don't think that you would know that they were artificial unless you got up really close and started touching them. They look super realistic. And also I love these little cascading succulents. I feel like you can just tuck these into any arrangement and it just adds another level, a little bit more dimension to it. And for these prices, $3.99 each, you can just pick up a few of these and they actually make a nice impact in your space. So browsing through the aisle with all these wooden dough bowls made me realize that I have a wooden dough bowl sitting on my dining room table, and it gave me an idea to switch that up and again freshen it up for spring, and I'm going to show you that as soon as I get back. One thing I did see that I've had my eye on for a while now are these little mini lamps. I've wanted one in our kitchen. We don't have under cabinet lighting, so I like the idea of being able to shut those harsh kitchen lights off at the end of the night and just have some soft lighting underneath there. So I'm just kind of looking and seeing what would work best. I already have a lot of natural wood tones in my kitchen, and I have a lot of white in the kitchen, and I've got a gray and white sort of chevron backsplash. So again, just browsing all these, they have great prices on these small lamps. So I'm just taking it in and seeing if there's one that looks best for our particular space. So then I ran over to our local Home Goods, and they have a lot of really nice pottery with a lot of great options in their section up front, and they have really good prices. Like this pedestal bowl would look really pretty in a kitchen with some fruit in it, or even some of those succulents that I showed you earlier. They have these beautiful black pots with the handles, and if I didn't already have a black textured pot at home, I probably would have scooped one of these up because again, it's a great price. And they also had things in their clearance section that were really good. So this bowl back here in particular, I actually have this bowl. I bought it a few weeks back and I use it for our coffee table. I use it to have our collected items in there like our coasters and our remotes for the TV, just loose stuff that if you leave it out on your coffee table looks messy. But if you buy a bowl or a tray like that, or even a box like this, and you put those items in there, all of a sudden it feels styled and neat and very aesthetically pleasing. And again, if you hit up the clearance section, you'll find a lot of great deals. I loved this black textured vase. Again, if I didn't already have one, I definitely would have scooped this up. It reminds me of the one I have, which is the Minka textured pot from Anthropologie. This one's only $29. I think I spent $129 on the one that I have. It was my Christmas present to myself a couple years ago. I just fell in love with it, and it's one of those splurges that I made. But this one, if you're interested in something like that, run over to Home Goods because they had a few of these in stock. And then this white one caught my eye. It's a really pretty texture, and I like that it looks a bit aged. It has a little bit of that patina on it. You can see the brown coming through. And again, $24.99. This is actually a great price for this piece. I like that it's got that Mediterranean kind of feel. I like that it has the two handles on it, and I like that it's tall. I find that the vases that I have now at home are kind of a little bit shorter and wider, but this guy is tall and just really pretty. I did check out their artificial florals. These did not look nearly as nice to me as the ones did at home. They definitely looked obviously artificial, and the price was even higher than the ones at home. So I would definitely have gone back to at home for that. This is just an example of some of that Italian pottery collection. These are from Italy. Dima is the brand. And if I had more of these color tones in my house, I would definitely have considered scooping those up, but they would look really good on a patio. And these are just another set of nesting bowls. They have that pedestal on the bottom. Those would look really nice with some fresh herbs on a patio table or something like that. And then just a quick little stop at Target to give you an idea of what they have there right now. Again, just this sort of Mediterranean style jugs that they have there, really pretty. Again, it's Target, so they're great prices. And if you find the right artificial florals, then you can really make these look like statement pieces on a coffee table or in the center of your dining table or on an island. Again, you don't need much, just a few pieces of greenery to make the textures pop, and you have yourself a centerpiece. Lastly, I made a stop at our local Whole Foods on the way home just because I wanted to pick up some fresh greenery to put in that textured pot that I have. I'm always drawn to tulips in the spring. I know they're very simple and obvious, but to me, they're just a really understated way to spruce up your kitchen counter. So now I headed back home, and I'm going to share with you the finds that I scooped up, just a couple items that are going to bring some spring refresh into my home. So this is from that first shop that we visited, the Brass Exchange, where I found that one single stem that can fill the entire vase. And again, I loved the leaves in this, so I couldn't pass it up. I could leave this just like this, and honestly, I think it looks beautiful. Super simple way. But I found these 3 ranunculus stems while I was there, and I couldn't leave them there. They look very realistic, and I felt like they were just a really nice way to, again, bring spring into my home in a kind of natural way that goes with the decor that I already have. So since they are 3 identical stems and I want to add some variety, add a little bit of height difference to this centerpiece, make it a little more interesting, you'll see that what I'm going to do is I'm bending the bottom of that first stem just a little bit so that it kind of hangs to the side there on the right. Then this next stem, I'm not going to bend it all because I want this to be nice and tall in the back of the arrangement. And then the third stem, I'm going to bend the most. I'm going to bend that stem all the way up. This way it's going to be the shortest one, and I'm going to style it toward the front of the arrangement. Again, this just adds a little bit more dimension to it, makes it feel grown in, a little bit wild, makes it look even more natural, especially when you get in there and you start bending those stems where the flowers are. You bend them just back and forth in different directions to make it look natural and grown in. And then these are just 2 of those cascading succulent stems that were at home. And I'm going to add these just one on either side of this arrangement. I think it's really pretty sometimes when you have height, going up, and then you have a middle and then something cascading down. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm just tucking these in very loosely, very casually. I'm not making anything too perfect or overly styled or anything like that, just to add a little bit of interest and a little bit more dimension. When you look at this arrangement, I kind of did it so that no matter what angle you're looking at it from, it makes sense. And that's what you want to do, especially if you're going to put an arrangement in the center of a room or on a coffee table or something like that. You kind of want to look at it from all angles and just make sure that it looks good from either side. And then I'm going to show you this little corner in my kitchen that I just added a little bit of a spring touch to. And I'm starting with these stacked cutting boards. So you can find these in a set. You can find them on Amazon, whatever style that you like. I'll link a few options for you below. And then this marble one, which is also on Amazon. So you can see that I stacked the first 2 in the back by height order, and I staggered them out a little bit so that I didn't just lay them one on top of the other. I have one a little bit toward the right, and then I placed the marble one a little bit toward the left just to have them overlap. And then these were a couple of the succulents that, again, I grabbed from at home. They were only $3.99 each, these guys. And you can see from the color, they look very realistic. You almost wouldn't know. I don't think you would know that they were artificial. So I remembered after seeing all that stone that I had this piece that I got years ago from World Market. It was actually a terrarium, so it came with this glass top. And I've had it in this top for a while, so I was kind of getting bored of it. So I decided that I was going to remove the top. I'm going to take these 3 artificial succulents and just place them right in that stone bowl. I love how it breaks up the white countertops. We have a lot of white in our kitchen, so I really like how it breaks up that white, but also brings that natural element. So I love when you have stone and wood all together. I really love being surrounded by natural pieces like that. They're very calming to me. So you can see that I did pick up a small lamp. I really liked this option. It was very simple, very understated, but it totally serves the purpose, and it lights up the kitchen counter at night in a really soft way without the harsh overhead kitchen lights. We're heading over to our kitchen table now, our dining table, and this is a centerpiece that I had. I mentioned before that I have that wooden dough bowl, and I styled this one a couple of months ago. I did a video on it, and while I do love it, I was getting a little bit bored with it, so I decided I was going to just do a little bit of a freshening up and just removing those candle holders that I had. And then you'll see I sped this part up for you because I just wanted to show you that it's actually not a lot of pieces. So these are inexpensive pieces that I got at either at home or Hobby Lobby, just some succulent sprigs and some filler here. The main area of the bottom of it is that piece of garland, and I'm gonna leave that there. You'll see in just a second. I'll link it for you. I got it at Hobby Lobby, and I'll also link an Amazon option for you as well. But I'm gonna start with that piece, and then I decided that I'm going to put some of those battery operated remote control candles. If you've been watching my channel, you know that I always link those for you because I love them and I use them all around my house. So I have these, I'm gonna start with these 2 glass vases. I usually have these on hand. They're a really good option to just keep in my cabinet, and if I get some fresh flowers or maybe I want to give a gift to someone, I always use those glass pieces. So as you can see, I did take home that vase from HomeGoods. It was too good of a price, and I felt like it just brought some spring into my kitchen area. So I'm just going in now, and I'm re-adding in those succulent picks just in a different place. So freshening it up, using what I already had in terms of those succulent picks, but just sort of placing them a little bit differently. And then you'll see that I started here adding these pieces to the top of that Mediterranean style jug that I picked up from HomeGoods. And then I just went ahead and started adding these pieces. This is some pampas grass, and I'll link that for you. I added in amongst all the greenery because I think it's just a really nice way to add texture and break up some of that greenery. And while I am very happy with how it looks, I sort of slept on it for a day or two. I like to do this in my house where I'll style something, and if I'm not sure, I'll just live with it for a couple days and sort of see how I feel about it. And you'll see in just a second that I actually decided a couple days later that I did not like these florals up there. I decided I wanted something a little bit more simple, a little bit more understated, but something that allowed me to show off the vase a little bit better. So I grabbed these 2 stems that I used to have on my kitchen island, and I popped those in the top of the vase, and now it feels like it looks perfect to me. I love how it turned out. And I took these stems that were already in there, and if you watched one of my last videos, you saw this vintage mortar that I picked up from the thrift shop. So I just went ahead and I popped those in to spruce up this corner, and I love how it turned out. So now I'm taking the fresh stems that I picked up from the grocery store, and I'm grabbing another one of those clear glass vases, and I'm going to use that, and then you'll see what I'm going to do in a minute. I'm going to first add the eucalyptus stems. So I'm just going to take the batch of those, and I'm going to leave them nice and long, and I just went ahead and popped them into the vase. Now for the tulips, what I'm doing is I took all of them and I just cut the bottoms, maybe 1/4 of an inch on the bottom at an angle, just so that they can drink up some water. And then I peeled back a few of those yellowing outer leaves. And now I'm just going in and I'm tucking in some of those tulips in each area of the arrangement. Again, I do like when things look wild and not at all perfect and messy, so I'm just rotating around to make sure that I have them at 360 degrees, but I'm not going too crazy with it. And then I went ahead and just popped them into that textured pot on the kitchen island, and absolutely love it. Just brought the perfect pop of color and springtime to our kitchen counter. So the last thing that I picked up from that little mini haul was this beautiful dessert case. Again, this is something that I've really wanted for a while, and this one was too unique and beautiful for me to pass up, especially with that stone trivet. It has a really pretty color tone to it. So I went ahead and I baked some chocolate chip cookies just to add to this so that the kids would have a nice little snack when they got home. These are actually Simple Mills box brand. They're one of my favorites. They're gluten-free. They're so easy to make, and you just add an egg and a little bit of ghee or butter, and they are delicious. They're nice and soft, and now my kids have an afternoon snack. So that is it for today. I really hope that you enjoyed this spring refresh. Definitely drop me a comment. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what was your favorite part. And I hope that this gives you a little bit of inspiration to go out and find, again, a couple of key little items that won't break the bank, but will make a big impact in your home. Again, make sure that you're subscribed. Leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you want to see in the future, what other kinds of videos you like watching. And I will see you next time. Take care.